Hello,
Hi
hello.
everybody,
Hi.
and welcome to Wed Wipes live session. It's been a while since we hosted our last live session. I believe it's 2 months, and I'm so glad that you guys made it live. It's in the middle of the season for majority of you, and I hope the season is treating you well, meaning you have nice couples, your future ambassadors, you create great content, and you still have some time to do your marketing and post the digital native content. And you know, guys, that at Wed Vibes, our mission is to discover and showcase amazing talents all over the world. And we also empower you with all kinds of marketing and PR tools to help you to convert your talent into success or money. And today, this session is part of that movement, and we have our great friend with us, a very talented photographer, a great marketing expert, Aga Maru. She's market strategist in Pic-Time, and she gonna talk how you can attract, the power of attraction, right, Aga? And you will unfold again how you can describe the perfect client profile, how you can also build your brand so you keep authentic, but also you connect visually and through your narrative with your client, and how you can tell the story of your brand through all the touch points you have in this digital world. Very excited to hear the story. And before we will dive into that, I will ask Daria also to give a right and proper introduction. And while Daria will be giving you great cool facts about Aga, I will ask you as a tradition to put in the chat your name, where you're joining from, and your profession. And also don't hold yourself. Put chat on fire, ask questions, send hi to the fellow professionals, to me, to Daria, to Aga, and let's just keep
Let's dive
moving.
in. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
begin. And yes, please, yeah, tell us like who is joining us today and like where are you from? And of course, don't forget your Instagram handle. In the meantime, I will introduce Aga. But I know if you're a photographer or you spend some time at any like let's say industry events around the world, chances are you already know Aga. As Alina mentioned, she's a market strategy director at Pic-Time. And of course, you know Pic-Time is a platform that's been trusted by I want to say tens or even hundreds of thousands of photographers globally. And of course, Pic-Time features all the cool things that help photographers deliver their work to the clients. It's online galleries, build and print store, marketing automations, so many things. But we specifically are super excited about this new AI search feature. And I kid you not, we recently just got back from Engage, and me and Alina, we shared Uber with two other photographers, and they actually discussed this feature and like, oh, this is like it's so much easier right now because clients can easily find like their guests, everyone can find each other. So I feel like it's a game changer for everyone. And also, of course, as Alina mentioned, Aga is a photographer herself. So she brings a broad understanding of how creative businesses are shaped, not only through the work itself, but also through the visual identity, through client experience, and the way a brand is perceived. She's once again was one of the most recognized faces in a global photography community, and she's known for showing up at events, ours included, worldwide, and for building genuine relationships everywhere she goes. So thank you, Aga, for joining us today. So excited to hear you.
Oh my God, thank you so for such a great introduction. Alina, you described the class so well. I hope I can describe it as well as you have. And of course, this beautiful picture that you, Daria, painted. So happy to be here. Thank you for everyone for joining. I think I will get right into the topic. Oh yes, I'll start
Yeah,
by
you
sharing
can
my
share
screen
the
now.
screen.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That would be helpful, probably.
Okay, yes, we can see it. Mhm.
So my talk today is called The Art of Attraction, and I've always like think, okay, what should I focus? And for me, the title of the talk is the intention for this talk. And while I'm going to be talking about things like branding, marketing, business decisions, and all of that, I think that once you create this really holistic system, once every element goes with another, you are able to, instead of thinking about it, that you're like pushing your vision and bringing the clients, like it becomes an attraction. It becomes a natural flow where you're putting the energy out that you're going to receive, and so on. So this beginning sounds way more spiritual than the actual presentation, but I wanted to have that little layer on top of it. Okay, so first up, I wanted to start by saying that attraction is a loop. So this is a living process. This is something that never ends. So if you feel like that we are like swimming, we're going to be swimming in these topics, and you're going to see that, some concept that come up now will resurface later, and so on. So as a general structure for this presentation, I want to talk first of all about the ideal client. So, what does that mean? Who that person is, and how to create that persona, and then how to design your visual identity that then in turn shapes how the market perceives you, which shapes your business decisions, and that shapes your ideal client. So everything is a part of this flow. Okay, so let's start with the first section is going to be all about designing a brand. And yes, ideal client. What does that mean? Who this person is? And there are many ways in which you can visualize that client and create the brand to attract that particular client. But I'm going to focus on one element of it, which is a taste. And honestly, I could do the entire presentation just about the ideal client. So we're going to focus on the taste over here. And what is good to think about is, what does your client value, right? What do they find beautiful? What do they emotionally respond to? What feels worth it for them? So these are just some of the prompts that I chose in order for you to kind of start with this more of an emotional layer, because you could look at it a little bit differently. You could look at it like, where do they shop? Where do they go? What do they wear? Where do they go on a vacation? Right? But this is, in a way, I think when when you look at it this way, then it will turn out that most photographers are going to come up with similar answers. They're going to be like, oh, I want a bride that wears Prada shoes. I want them to, shop at this place, and so on and so on. And I think that that sometimes creates the brands that are a little bit similar or repetitive. And what is important for me is that you bring the layers to it, so that you have your general layer, the aesthetics and so on, but there is also part of you in it that is a little bit more emotional, a little bit more this bridge from who you are and who they are. So if you think about the values, are they someone that is going to, want something, an event that is like really glamorous and more is more and flowy, and they will delight in every detail? Or is it someone that values more closer connection, is going to have a smaller, maybe less friends, but and there's no right or wrong. I don't mean to paint any of these as better or worse. Also, when it comes to beauty, right? Like, what do they find beautiful? Do they find a blooming garden beautiful, or do they find a beautiful build, or do they prefer a beautiful building? Like, there is so many ways to answer those questions, and that's on purpose to give you possibly a lot of answers. Next up, once you have this, image in your head, then when it comes visual identity. So you take these different elements that are going to evoke feelings and aesthetics, and you create a message. So to me, your visual identity is not just expression, it's communication. So maybe, you chose like a plant or a word that makes you feel something, right? This is the way you can puzzle things in. And what I find the most beautiful in that whole process is that you can take two things that are seemingly unrelated. You can take something that is like ethereal and edgy at the same time, and don't feel like you've got to choose, that you have to compromise and be like, no, my thing is has to be now harsh. And you also like things that are soft. You can actually, by bringing those contradicting, seemingly contradicting aesthetics, is when you're going to create something that has visual depth and a lot of layers, and that is going to be striking, interesting, that is going to be you, and that someone is going to go, wow, and feel like naturally pulled towards. And I want to say that these choices that you make, like which each one of those choices are going to signal emotional tone, level of refinement, category of work, and perceived value. And I'm going to go back to these points a little later in the presentation when I'm going to talk about the business impact. But I just wanted to say that these choices are not purely visual, and it's not just like the imagery. It's the whole suite. How your voice, how you write, how it feels to be around you, and what impact does, like, looking at your work, what feeling does that leave? Okay, and uh, here I want to say that as a photographers, we tell the story of the day, and the process is long, right? So you meet your clients, you first build your brand persona, attract your clients, meet them, go through the whole process of before the wedding with them, then go through the day itself, and then you deliver that work. And to the photographers, to us, it can feel like this is the end of the process. This is it. But for the client, this is actually first time they're going to see the images that you took. So for them, it's just the beginning of the process. So it's an important moment. It's a moment where, a lot of what you have done previously kind of fades into distance, and that becomes the moment. So this is where you're taking the delivery, is the moment where you're taking them from this promise that you created, this mood, this feeling, into the actual experience. So um, in your galleries, the sequencing, storytelling, and delivery shape how your visual identity is actually experienced, not just seen. Because this is the moment also where you're going to have this emotional impact that is, a natural part of it. And I'm going to talk a lot about the gallery visuals as well, in order to show you how simple things can radically change that experience. So over here you can see there's a beautiful gallery from Ollie Sampson, and no matter the weather, I'm going to show a few examples from this gallery, and you can see how simple change of the color, of the gap spaces, and of the fonts completely changes your experience with those images. And I think as photographers, it's easy to just be like, oh, I want the white backdrop because I want my images to stand out. But think again of those layers, right? Like your photos could be sweet and you can give them an edge by putting them on, a darker background, or you can like have a pop of color for this element that's a little bit unexpected. And it's those little touches that are going to create something that lingers, that is memorable. Um, we have had a really big launch in Pic-Time a couple months ago. We call it a platform 2, where we've been working on this for years, and finally we have been able to add a lot of visual choices and elements that you can change. So now you can choose, anything from the shape of the buttons, the opacity of the menu. You can change from a lot of themes and covers and animations to really create that brand universe for your client. And you can either choose to, pick a template that works globally for your brand. But each event itself is another aesthetic. So you can either um, adapt it to the aesthetic of the wedding and create like a mini brand for that specific client and event, or lead with yours, or do any combination of both. But what I invite you to do is like to play with it, to get playful, things what feels right to you, and feel what feels beautiful to you as well. So this is the experience of this gallery, where you can see that first you've got those clips and images. Here photographer and videographers came together to create like a really immersive experience through mixing the photo and video clips. And to me, this gallery is a piece that you just want to keep exploring over and over and over. And even though this is maybe not so intuitive, but when people come back to the gallery, when they share it, it actually results in more referrals, better sales, and so on. So it's not just the aesthetics for the sake of it. It does have a actual tangible business value. All right, next I wanted to show you a few different covers from the new designs for you to just kind of see how different they can be, and how different photographers with the different weddings can play with the color and fonts to create that completely different language. So we are very proud that we have been able to introduce these tools. This is something that we have been we wanted to have this for you for a very long time. And we think that that really makes a difference in putting that kind of extra touch, that brings this gallery beyond just the images themselves. And here are some examples from our community as well. So with each gallery, when you publish it, you have a possibility to share a video scroll for the cross promotion on Instagram. So we're very excited to see a lot of those galleries, and you can at any time go to Pic-Time's account to see what photographers all over the world are posting and loving.
Yeah, I love it. So, if can you just go back, Haga, just for a
Uh-huh.
second? I just wanted to say that we talk a lot about customization and how it's important right now for the client that they see themselves as like main characters of everything of the their own universe. And I remember I'm a dinosaur of the industry, and I remember like how we delivered pictures in like flashcard in the beautiful boxes, like with printed photos. I know what some photographers still do it, but it doesn't feel necessary because everything is digital right now, and I feel like this is the perfect solution if you can actually customize it to the clients and still through the digital experience showcase that you actually put some thought in it. You like chose the specific colors, maybe fonts, maybe like yeah, like introduce those like video postcards, and it just feels different. It feels like yeah, you actually cared about their wedding, and yeah, because
I,
right.
I think I think what's happening with the video, that the boundaries are really blending between the still image and moving image, and I see videographers
Yeah.
playing with photography, photographers playing with video, with movement, with
Hmm.
GIFs. And in now you are able to, any of those elements, whether it's on the cover or in the gallery, you can have that be a video, you can have that be still image, and so on. So it's really something that you can create that little immersive world for them.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. Plus, we have content creators in the field also. So you can I love that
Absolutely,
you all can come
absolutely.
together and deliver, let's say, like the full experience, like you said, the full immersive experience from everyone who worked to deliver the visuals for this wedding. And I also see some questions. Please
Uh-huh.
write them in the chat, and we will come back to them at the end of the session. So yes, I'm going to save this one from Luciana. Okay, Aga,
All
the floor
right.
is yours. Yeah.
Okay, so the next part is the business impact. So now I'm going to talk about like a little bit more of the day-to-day stuff and how your brand can impact the business impact, create a business impact. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the market perception. So this is very similar to the brand. So again, now you are taking what you created and everything that you put out there, and you put yourself in someone else's shoes, and you can ask your friends, your peers to do this exercise with you, to look at the visual representation of you, whether it's the gallery, delivered gallery, your Instagram account, your website, your whole online presence, and ask yourself a question: how are people gonna place it? Like, what category are they gonna put it in? So are they gonna, like if you are a photographer that wants to do documentary photography, when you look at your work, does it look like it's a documentary work, right? Because it maybe sounds obvious, but then when you look at photographers' websites, you see a text that says like, yes, I'm a documentary photographer, and then you see 20 posed images underneath, and you're just like, okay,
Mhm.
that doesn't fit. And what we're trying to do over here is we're trying for this message to be cohesive. So to make your brand, like business decision made on your branding, what that means is that the client is not going to be confused, right? It's going to be attracted, and then they're going to receive the welcome that they expect.
Mhm.
So first is the category, then it's the level. What kind of and I also over here, I don't want to always say that like the higher is better, right? Some clients are looking for something that is more casual, more, softer. They're What is beautiful about wedding industry is that there's really place for everybody. And then, very importantly, what should this cost? So, this is about how you're going to price yourself. And is what you're putting out there matching the feeling that the person that looks at it like thinks, okay, this should be expensive, or this should be, affordable. Um, and so on. And again, I want to, say that not everyone has to be the highest end. It's also okay for some elements of this to feel approachable. Um, okay, and then we get into the business decisions. So this is where the inspiration turns into the action. So now you've got your visual identity, the brand, the client in mind, and you know how market perceives you, and everything is coherent. The other business decisions that you make are connected to that. So it's I wrote here, it's your brand made operational. So this is where it's important that your pricing actually not only reflects who your client is, how you're perceived, but that everything matches. And this is how you're going to determine your marketing decisions. So how are you going to promote yourself, or promote, I'm going to talk in a little bit about your print store. So all of this is tied together, as well as the systems that you're going to use. So what website you're going to use, what CRM, gallery, and so on. So all of those decisions matter to building something that's really consistent. And over here, you can see a screenshot from the Pic-Time store. And again, I talked to a lot of photographers, and a lot of photographers are overwhelmed when setting up the store, purely because they ask questions like, "Oh, how much should I charge?"
Mhm.
Or like, "What should I sell?" And I never have a simple answer for this, because it's like, well, in order to know what you're going to charge, you need to know, what are you charging for a wedding? Are you charging 10,000 for a wedding and then you're selling album for 400? That is not going to feel consistent. This is going to be like, wait, why is this? Why there is a disproportion? So there needs to be some kind of logic with everything fitting together. Same with the quality of the products. In Pic-Time, we work with over 30 different labs, and you can really pick whether you're gonna, do a regular prints and canvas and so on, or are you gonna look for those more boutique products and so on. So, for example, here on the picture, you can see some of my favorites, which is like the float frame that has a deckled edge print mounted. Um, in a frame and a circular frame. So again, like round deckled edge print. And these type of products are something that makes a impression and impact. So it needs to work with your brand. Maybe the feel of these products is more soft and romantic, and you either maybe your work is like that and that's going to fit perfectly, or maybe you're going to contrast it with something that is more edgy and bring that softer look into this product. So the products, the curation of your store, this is another element that can add that visual play, and so on. So I would, and if if you don't know where to start, I would say pick the products for your store that attract you, that you feel pulled towards, that you're curious, maybe that you would like to order for yourself. And I think that's like always going with your gut here can be a great starting point. Again, like some question that I get asked is like, what's the most selling product in Pic-Time store? And it's a regular print. Does that mean that that's all you want to sell? I don't think necessarily. And by bringing these boutique products, sometimes you can make a regular print look much better because of the neighbors that they're in. So even if you're not going to sell a ton of them, sometimes it's important to introduce the pieces that are just going to set a different tone to the whole experience. And on the left side, I have automation banner to show that there are many ways in which you can run sales. You can also be very intentional and do it with a lot of like gentleness and beauty. So, all right. Oh, and we have also a new store editor. So same as what I'm inviting you to create an experience for your clients, this is the part of the experience for your clients that we have taken care of, that the images are presented in interesting interiors, that they have context, that it's easy to want to get a bigger size of the product, and through many different close-ups of the products that it's also possible to see the quality, because the challenge in the digital world is that you cannot touch it, you cannot feel really the difference with your fingers. So we're trying to do this justice with the videos, with the close-ups, and the interior context as well. And finally, our brand new AI album designer, which has been created from that allows your client to create an album based on their favorite people from the wedding, their favorite photos, and then it's through a smart algorithm and preferences on how each spread should be designed. It matches the colors, it chooses it knows, okay, these photos are from the preparations, they should go together. There is another set from the bride, the black and whites should go together here, the colors should not mix. So the client can create a beautiful high-end album by themselves. So okay, so the last part is the ripple effect. So where that works becomes growth. So you might think that the work ends at delivery. We think that it's just an exciting beginning of the journey of the image, and the image then gets shared, like the word around you gets shared through shared galleries, through published stories, through it says log, it should be blog, through blog and slideshows. through referrals and printed products. We also have developed a really great app that allows the client to, they can start designing album on their desktop and then switch to their phone, keep designing there. So in a way, it's important for us that if you're using our platform, that you are giving your clients this innovative experience that is going to match the level of everything else that you have provided. And through our vendor sharing app, and I know that Wet Vibes is a community of photographers, but also all kind of other vendors. This is a platform that we created to make the images sharing really easy. So you can easily add um, contacts to the vendors that you work with, share the images, include the media usage terms, which basically means that before entering the gallery, the vendor will have to approve the terms of usage for those images, whether it's like, hey, if you use them on Instagram, please tag me or link to my website if you're using or these are the things that you can do with these images and these are the things you can ask for. That creates just like clear communication, a really easy access, and of course our AI filters also chooses the right images to show in that vendor gallery first. So if it's a florist, it's going to find all the images with the flowers, put them on top, so it's easy for everyone to spread the love. And we often, we know that for our businesses, we've got to keep posting on Instagram, we've got to keep showing the content. And for us, this is easy because we're photographers. So
Hmm.
our work is the content. For everyone else, they rely on
On
photographers
your
for their
work. Yeah.
content.
To
So
show their work. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So they're at your mercy a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. I feel like this is
Yeah.
for us the most exciting feature because honestly, whenever we work with like everyone else, makeup artists,
Except of photo and video.
everyone except for the video team, they're like, okay, but we always rely on photographers to deliver, and like sometimes like, oh, like we still didn't receive like any photos from it. I feel like it's going to be so much more convenient for everyone to receive your work and to find your work. Actually, like you mentioned, the dress or like I don't know, just a floral or a cake. Yeah, so it's
Right, and photographers, it's another step. Like, you get busy. There are like so many things to do. That's why we're like, let's make it super easy and let's make it easy for photographers to share their work and for vendors to be able to access different galleries in one spot that have been shared with them to have this kind of like image base that is available through their app. We have like again like if you don't use Pic-Time app, I really encourage you to download and start using it because if you're chatting with the vendor at the wedding, you can just let them scan a QR code, they add all their details, and they get you're gonna see a approval request in the gallery, and you can easily like with a couple of clicks share the images with them. So this whole like, okay, I put the business card in my bag. I don't even remember which wedding it was from and who am I supposed to send what images to. That whole problem disappears and becomes just a part of your process. And the last but not least is the feature that you mentioned that you were particularly excited about. So this is the AI search in the gallery. So you can search for many different things as a gallery visitor. You can put the words in, you can use some of the existing filters, but you can also find your face and see all the images taken from you, which is just a deal breaker for any guest attending the wedding that wants to see the photos of themselves. And we see the
yeah.
the galleries that have the AI search enabled get more engagement. People stay longer. They get more social sharing. And of course, it's very easy to buy these prints after.
Absolutely. Because
Um,
everyone is looking for themselves as usual.
exactly. I mean, you
After
you want to
everything.
see some like general photos, like
I
And
20.
don't care
yourself.
about bride and groom. Like let me find
No, I
myself.
mean, speaking of guests, yes, you
Yes.
look for your face.
Yeah,
Uh,
you want to see your face, your friend's face, someone that maybe you chatted with. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, or
but
for
I
creatives, once again, I want to find my work. I want to find my cake, for example, or like my floral design or my dresses. Yeah, so it's like so much more, once again,
and
convenient.
I loved Aga for the previous chapter before you move to the next
Yeah.
one, that actually the delivery of the photo, it's just the beginning of the journey, right?
Yes.
And that's probably to me, the most powerful, as a marketing person, is the most powerful phrase to say, because yeah, that's just when you really like your marketing promotion starts, because that's the final product, and the more eyes will see this work, speaking of the guests, couple, and the vendors, and the more eyes will not only see it but also love it, the higher chances that you will secure like the better projects in future. So to
Yes.
me, like this, because lots of pictures, people can be lost. So the way that peak time in enhancing the experience of each person who get access to the gallery, and that increases the chances for the exposure of the images. And I'm glad that you're doing that, but I guess that yes, there is a part of education can be done among the photographers how they can maximize the effect. Because still, and I know there is also a lot of emotional part, lots of photographers say that once I edit the gallery, I don't want to think about this wedding anymore. I'm already
Yes,
exhausted. I will
yes.
never come back.
Because to the
Yeah,
photographers, this is the finish line, right?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
pressing send on the gallery. So they're like running through it. It's like, oh, it's here. So it's just like you just want to speed through it. And it's like a
Just
natural feeling you spent with this wedding sometime
exactly.
and so on.
Exactly. But there is a huge marketing potential that underspoken and underestimated what's gonna happen after you deliver the gallery. And the photographers who understand it, they have higher results. And also separately, there is a submission to different media, like to us, to other wedding media magazines. And also the way you submit it, how you deliver the gallery for the editors, it also increases or decreases the chances if the wedding will be published or not. And if it
Absolutely.
is published, what kind of images will be selected? Because the easier job
Mhm.
you give to the editors to curate and to pick this caviar content, the better you will be seen. Because publication doesn't matter if what you published is not captivating. So I
Yeah.
love this part, and I believe that there is way more to explore in a way how like it is shaped, uh,
Yes.
and what kind of experience it gives to different stakeholders who have access to the gallery.
Yes, and if you really think about the client experience, like what are they going through, right? So they see your work, there is this emotional part, like something sparks, and it's like, yes, I see the beauty. Like I think this person like understands who I am and see the beauty in the same way. So you decide to give them a lot of money even before the wedding, right? By
Mhm.
trusting that connection of the taste, of the like aesthetic, of like what do they chose. Like it's a huge kind of a leap of faith, right? That the client and often gives you like a lot of money even before the wedding, hoping you will show up, right? And then you show
Yeah,
up, you charm them, that they have this whole experience, but they still have no idea what you have done. Like they haven't
Mhm.
seen any photos, so now they're waiting and waiting, and they're just hoping, hey, I hope this, person captured my close family members. I hope that I look cute in the photos. I hope that it looks like we love each other. I hope, that all the things that I care about are going to be documented, but you don't know. Like you're just waiting to see, and then this moment where you receive the gallery is where you're going to really like you're making this first impression. And if you're delivering sneak peek first, the sneak peek has to be that's going to be the first impression. That needs to be really polished, because then you send a gallery and it's like, okay, yeah, great to see more photos, but the sneak peek is what's going to be memorable.
Mhm.
mhm.
um, and so that's where curation comes in, and I'm super passionate about this topic too. I could go on forever. What you said, Alina, about the submissions, I am a huge advocate for the highlight scene. So in peak time, what you can do is you can select images from the whole day and have
Mhm.
them appear on top of the gallery. So this is not going to change anything in the order of your images. It's going to create kind of a visual copy, virtual copy
Mhm.
that's going to show on top of the gallery. So when someone that has to look through a lot of galleries every day, or a wedding guest that wants to really kind of dive into the universe of that wedding, is going to be able uh, to see the best parts as kind of like a movie trailer before the diving into hundreds or sometimes thousands of photos. Um, so yeah, that really brings this to end of my presentation in a beautiful way. It's because everything, closes. Then the gallery has another life. New people see it, and that's how you can attract another people on, like either the guest of that wedding, or sharing that gallery on social media, or sharing the images from the wedding and doing it in this, a cohesive ways. What's going to attract the next ideal client, and that loop repeats forever. If you haven't tried Pic-Time yet, you can scan this QR code. I'm guessing probably many people are already Pic-Time users over here, but if not, you can try it out for free for 1 month. And I'm very curious about the questions that we got also, if there are any.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is one question, but also, guys, we have a very intimate room, so please don't be shy and ask all kinds of questions about like the bigger marketing perspective, or even some technique details that Aga is the best person to explain how to use PicTime. In the meantime, I will read out Louisiana question. I haven't been able to figure out how to have a cover photo for the main page where you see all your galleries. I'm able to customize the cover photo inside the gallery, but it does not show up on the grid.
Um,
So it's more like a
okay.
technical question. Yeah.
Yes, this is more technical question. If you can pop your email into the chat, I will send you a step by step. Because generally this is the image that shows as a thumbnail is the main cover image, but I'm going to double check because indeed there are covers now where you can have multiple images. So I'm gonna check how to make the one. I think you meant in maybe the portfolio page, right?
Luciana, if you are with us, you can just unmute yourself and continue the
And
conversation.
explain a little bit more.
All
Or
right.
if
She's been
that's
thrown
easier, yeah,
under the
you can put
bus.
us
Okay, so
email.
the question, if Luciana, if you left the room, it will be unanswered. Oh, you don't have an ambassador just to drop your email. All right, guys, do you have any more questions? It's a great opportunity for Aga to answer them.
Always pretty like self-explanatory. I mean, I will add on a AI feature because it even from the media outlet perspective, it used to be that editors wanted to have like, okay, send us like up to 100 pictures, and because like we don't want to dive into the thousands of them. It's like who has the time in the world? But right now, I know that this once again. I love this AI feature because right now I know that even our editors, they would prefer for you to do like this highlight, like Aga mentioned, right? The highlight, well, I'll call it like selection, but still send the full gallery. And right now for editors, it's so much easier because sometimes they have a different, let's say, perspective, different vision, what will work the best, what will showcase your work the best, and they will just easily type it like the yeah, black and white picture. So specifically the wedding dress, and they will select something that maybe you didn't include it in the beginning. And I feel like for photographers, it's also so much more useful and it's easier process. Okay, let's try it again. Uh, Lu- okay, Luciana just
Okay,
send us
I got
email.
the
Okay,
perfect.
so we can copy it and
All right, we
forward
saved
Yes,
it
it.
here.
I
Yeah.
copied it. So
Oh, you copied it? Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you, Aga. You are the digital native, so we don't need to do
You
our
know
job.
how to do it.
All right. So if you guys don't have questions, Aga, thank you so much. that was probably the most exciting conversation about the art of attraction and also using the Pic-Time platform, how it can help, and also understanding that it's always a connection between who I am and what's my style and who is my couple, and like bridging this communication between you as an artist and your client is probably for those who nail it, that's the success. That's you arrive
Right.
to the point where you want to be as an artist, serving the clients that you want to serve and expressing your
Yeah.
artistic vision.
And at the
And
end of the day, that's a pretty happy place to be in.
that's
Uh,
very happy place to be in. And I'm so glad that yes, there is like platforms like Pic-Time that helps you to express your vision, because of course it comes from us, because we usually talk to a lot of photographers, wedding planners, lots of wedding professionals who, I cannot say they complain, but like they want to be at a certain level, and the way there is not clear. But we always say that it starts with you, and even for the artists who come for our marketing consultations, we always say it should start with you understanding who you are, what kind of clients you want to serve, and what's inspirational for you. If you don't know that, if you don't know the destination where you want to work, if you don't know the for the other professionals, the planners you want to work with, or for the planners, the photographers you want to work with, it's hard to build a marketing strategy if you don't even know the point where you want to arrive. It can
Hmm.
change while you do more because you evolve, but as of today, you should have a vision. What's a good thing for you? Why I'm saying that? To me, peak time, what for everything you do, it's a great supportive tool for those who understand what they want to get and they have like certain strategy and they can understand all the advantages of peak time, right? Because if you don't know, it's like, okay, it's just another Google Drive, advanced
yes,
Google Drive.
absolutely.
So to me,
And
it's important for you guys to understand your marketing and then unfold the opportunities or like the shortcut that Big Ten can give you on your marketing strategies if it makes sense.
right, and I hope we just gave a taste of all those possibilities too, because, I, of course, talked about the delivery moment and everything that you can do around it, but the same goes for your website. The same goes for, the fonts that you're going to use throughout the experience, not just in peak time. In peak time, we just try to tie it all together so you bring all those visual elements that you created before and you can create that memorable, cohesive impact in
Hmm.
that moment that is so important in their photography journey.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
Because like, this is your service that you actually deliver to your clients, and yeah, this
All
perception
right.
matters for them.
I
Okay.
will take a
Yes.
picture and then again, Aga, thank you so very much
Thank
for
you for
such a
having
great
me.
deck, for being on point. And I hope we will meet soon in person and also in November at our Wow for Girls Congress. And for everybody who joined us, please keep an eye on the new updates about upcoming live sessions and have a great rest of the night if you're in Europe
All
and
day.
Aga, and have a great rest of the day if you're in the US like us. And please, please keep an eye for the news, what's gonna happen next, and join our online and in-person experiences.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you
Thank you,
guys.
Aga, for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you, Aga.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye.
rest of your day. Bye. Bye.
Bye.